Good evening. Hello. Greetings to everybody around the world. Um, Good morning, good afternoon, um, good evening. Depending on where you're checking, you're watching me from. Yeah, I thought I would just pay a tribute to the day gone, the Africa Day, the 25th, which is a great day, which has got a high significant to our channel, Africanizer. Our channel is Africanizer Up or Africanizer the first. And to all Africans of the world, we come to remind you, we Africans in diaspora, about the significance of Africa Day. What goes through our minds? What do we think about? What goes? What do we think we can do to make Africa great uh, and for Africans, from African to another African? Personally, I think that Africans should be more together, more sympathetic to each other, more understanding, less division amongst ourselves, less greediness amongst ourselves. We don't say we don't want to be rich. Let's be ethical. Let's be rich in the most straight up way, not to take uh, country resources and make them into your own pocket money. Some of the people are happening in Africa, especially our leadership. Yeah, yeah, the Africanizer up or the first Africanizer the first it was inspired by I was inspired to start the channel by my dad, my father, um, was a great friend of Bob Marley. Those who don't know that my father was instrumental in inviting Bob Marley um, from Jamaica, Tough Gong Studios, to Zion, Zimbabwe, where he comes from. So Bob Marley was invited by G.G. Chanyuka, who happens to be my father. They are all late now. And also, we don't forget people like I say, Job Kadengu, Uncle Job Kadengu, who play a pivotal role in bringing the ruling party, which was ZANU. Everyone was in ZANU, and through Uncle Edgar Tekere, was through Two Boy Tekere. I call him uncle because they went together to the same school with my father, were in the same class with in the same school with the founding person, Abich Sitepo, to the point that we were all uh, very much into ZANU. Um, Having said that, Tekere was a general secretary who then wanted an insider to do the job of making sure that when black rule comes, it's all catered for. The ministers, the president, or the prime minister then was Mugabe. He didn't even have a car to bring him into significant. That's where Joe Kadenga comes in because he had Peccadillo Motors, his own garage, and he sent his best car, the limousine which he used to hire out for to people for weddings and special occasions. That's what he did. So, and he also, when Paul Mali came, all the hotels in Harare were full. Everyone, when they heard that Bob Marley was there coming, everyone came, every country came to Zimbabwe that day. So, in the end, Bob Marley had to leave in Skyline Motel because it was owned by Uncle Job Kadengu. Sorry, I keep on saying uncle. That's what we used to call him because he was a friend of my father. He was like Baba to me, Baba, Nini, or uncle in our own language. Uncle means Baba, his father. Nini, a young father. So at that time, I was also very, very young. Um, but I can relate to the coming of Bob Marley and even used to come to our house in was it Ashton Park, Bingley Drive. That's where my father had a house there. Bob Marley used to come there and used to have ganja tea. Now, actually, that will take most of why I'm trying to relate to Africans and the African Day celebration on the May 25th of every year. It is to commemorate the Organization of African Unity, OAU, on the 25th in 1963, which is now the African, what is it now called? The African Union, uh, African Union Day. African is made, uh, African OAU was founded on the 25th of May 1963, which is now known as the African Union Day, celebrates Africa unity, marks the progress that Africa has made while reflecting on common challenges that the continent faces. Some of these common are man-made. They are man-made in the sense that people will just become extraordinarily greedy and don't want to be accountable for anything, and don't see the future of anyone. They think the world ends with them, and that's it. What of the children of tomorrow? What's going to happen to our country tomorrow? Because we inherited from other people, we should have, uh, you know, a future for thinking, selfless, and invest in the future of our children and other people who live in it. It's just like having a kitchen and you just eat all the food in yourself and everyone else is hungry and they're shut out. How can you do that? You've got to think of other people who are outside the door, they're waiting for their meal. Every plate and everyone will be happy, and every leader will be loved by those he leads because he's a leader of substance. We don't want leadership which are threatening, they're scared of you, worry that you might disappear, you might, that sort of thing should really be of significant now. We should feel very safe and be able to talk to our leadership and challenge them on things which are not correct. Yeah, like having the fiscus run through their back pockets instead of being done by professionals. So there are people like Deloitte and Touch and other people like banks, reserve banks should run free of politics. Those are national treasures, and also private sector plays a role in uh, revamping or making the country grow. You know what I mean? So, like for instance, you can actually do financial engineering in the case of a country like Zimbabwe, for instance. Let's take Zimbabwe. It's got a lot of gold. Instead of selling all that gold, they should be monetizing, having gold monetized, get the money and develop things like roads, like hospitals, without losing the gold and the heritages going away from us right now. You see, BTO, you shouldn't just go and borrow money and use it for other things than what it is borrowed for. Money should be used carefully, especially if you borrow money, because what happens is you leave your children indebted. Your children will end up paying for the debts which we left. Some of us cannot even return home because if you come there, there is no medication in the hospital. It's so shameful. It's pathetic that we don't have a hospital yet. We have the most qualified doctors the most qualified hospital and the ability to do those type of jobs. Right. The significance of Africa Day is to all Africans around the world, not only to Zimbabwe, it's to Kenyans, it's to every, like the African American, the Jamaicans, and all the black people who identifies as Africans. The importance of unity, not to look upon each other like, oh, because I got a bit of a light skin or something like that. That is very archaic and stupid way of looking at things. Because we've got the richest continent, we've got the best climate, we've got everything we need in Africa. Yeah, and also we as a channel of Afrikanizah or Afrikanizah the first. Yeah, we get inspired by African Day. Um, like I said, the channel was inspired by my father and Paul Mali, uh, who actually Paul Mali has been still. It's only now that people I can understand what he was talking about. Back then, people didn't realize the wise words were spoken by Bob Marley, like small X. I shot the sheriff. So many music which we listen to. It's only now that people are starting to say, "Oh, is that what he meant?" My father was so musically ahead and significantly. We worshipped and heroes these words. Songs like "Who Jah kept fits, let them wait." Yeah, if the kept fits you, let that person wait. Means if you're going to rule people, don't deny leadership. If you've got leadership quality, let that person rule. Because we know some of our uh, in our African countries, we are not allowed, or the old guard, they don't want the young rulers to come into play. They want to rule forever until they're dead. I don't know. Um, anyway, because our culture also plays a big role, we respect our elders. We should always respect our elders. We don't, but elders, there's a point when they become retired by other elders. Like myself, I believe myself, I'm an elder now. I'm not a youth, as it were. I mean, at my age, I'm much, much older. I think even a guy who is maybe 10 years younger than me can rule Africa, can rule a country. And that's not a problem. We have a lot of people who are in the diaspora just because of misrule, instead of them being investing their sweat and tears in developing our country. Yeah, we have now ECOWAS, we've got SADC, and we believe these are the important organs which will make Africa a better place. We have got such a complex, making complex ones. In Africa has been forced to leave their countries, search for better opportunities, security, and living conditions. It's just because of lack of good governance, political instability, corruption, economic challenges in some African countries have contributed to diaspora. Yeah. So we are looking at regional organizations such as Southern African Development Community, which is SADC, and of course, not to be compromised again in terms of short-term gains and lose the track of what we want as Africans. We say salute to all Africans, salute all the Africans, salute to all Africans, unite and unite, unite again. African daughters, African sons, the sleeping sons of Jacob, wake up. This is your time. And with that, I'll leave you to comment, like, And if you've got anything to add to it, I know there are people who won't like what I'm saying, but these are just that's my opinion. That's what we call opinion. Everyone has got theirs. Like everyone has got his backside, just like everybody else. So that is my opinion. I think we should really move away from being so inward looking. Thank you. You should say comments, subscribe, and like so that we get a thumbs up. Okay, done. Yeah.